Hello NBA fans and welcome back to another episode here on the NBA The Week That Was. In today's episode, I'll be discussing the NBA Finals, giving my preview for it, which team has which X factor, how I think each team could win the series, and who I think will ultimately end up coming out on top in the series between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. There's so many storylines, so much to talk about, let's get right into it. Coming into this season, the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers had very different expectations. No one expected the Miami Heat to make the finals, but they ended up doing it. Coming into this season, people thought they had a relatively unproven roster with some young players who had high potentials, but not really, they didn't think they could produce as well as they have done throughout the whole year. Guys like Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero have all exceeded their expectations. They also have some key veterans, Goran Dragic, Jay Crowder, and they have their leader, who they got in a sign-and trade last offseason in Jimmy Butler. Led by the leadership, the veterans, and a great coaching staff headed by Erik Spoelstra, the Miami Heat defied all expectations, ended up cruising in the playoffs, easily defeating the Pacers, honestly easily defeating the reigning MVP and DPOY, Giannis and his Bucks, and beating the Celtics with relative ease, only dropping 3 games this whole playoff run. Miami really looks poised to give the Lakers a challenge. The Lakers, on the other hand, I think everyone knew they were going to be here. LeBron James was on a mission. He had just gotten Anthony Davis, arguably forming the best duo in the NBA and one of the best duos we've seen in a while. The Lakers cruised through the regular season and have honestly cruised through the playoffs, easily dismantling the Trailblazers, the Rockets, and the Nuggets in 5 games each. The role players are stepping it up, guys like Kuzma, Rondo, Caldwell Pope, Caruso, Dwight Howard, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. They've been playing well in this playoffs, but they're going to take it to another notch in the finals. This will be a great series to watch. Let's start off by talking about the team no one expected to be here, the Miami Heat. As I said, they had a relatively unproven roster, yet in this playoff run, they've all stepped it up in their own unique way. First off, the young guys. Tyler Hero, 37 points in a Game 4 performance in the Eastern Conference Final by a guy who's only 20 years old. It was amazing to watch. Tyler Hero, he's a superstar, in my opinion, for this Miami Heat team. But it's all of the young guys stepping it up. Hero, as I said, creating his own offense, being a top 3, honestly a top 10 player in the playoffs, or at least in the last 2 rounds. Tyler Hero stepping it up. But guys like Duncan Robinson, a certified sniper, that man cannot miss when he's wide open. Bam Adebayo, all defensive player. He can guard positions 1 through 5, but he's also stepping it up on offense, being a great guy to run a pick and roll with, but also hitting the mid-range shot and being a consistent guy in the paint, looking like one of the best big men in the Eastern Conference. Guys like veterans are also stepping it up for the Heat. Goran Dragic has been a go-to guy for the Heat this whole playoff run in a way he wasn't the whole year. He didn't even start, but when the Eastern Conference Finals began, the Heat knew they had to start this guy. He had the hot hand, and this new starting lineup of Dragic, Crowder, Bam, Jimmy Butler, and Duncan Robinson has wreaked havoc on teams because they all can score and they're all being really consistent in this playoff run. Jay Crowder, he's a great 3-point shooter, and his defense is really proving crucial to the Heat, being a top 3 defender for the Heat. As I said, Bam Adebayo crucial, Iguodala off the bench, providing that savviness, that IQ that you look to from your veterans. All led by Jimmy Butler, their go-to man in the clutch. He does everything for the Heat. He doesn't need to be the main scorer. He can be the playmaker, the rebounder, the guy who's taking the best assignment on defense. Jimmy Butler's doing whatever it takes for this Heat team to win, which is what you want from your superstar. You don't want him demanding the ball just because he's that superstar. Jimmy Butler's being the do-it-all guy when he needs to be, and that's why this Heat team is so fun to watch. They're all led by arguably one of the best coaches in the NBA, Erik Spoelstra. Spoelstra has been the Heat coach for a while now, and almost, I think, 11 or 12 years, which is long for an NBA coach. And he really has proven that he can take a group of people who aren't the best talent-wise, but they all work together really well and form them into a contender. He's instilled this work ethic and determination into them, into players who are already so confident and determined. It just makes for a killer formula in this Miami team. How do I think they will win this series? I think defense is the key. I really feel they have the guys to stop LeBron James and Anthony Davis, arguably the only threats on this Lakers team, yet they are the biggest threats that the Miami Heat could have faced. Jimmy Butler and Jay Crowder as well as Iguodala can all rotate and take the assignment of LeBron James, while Bam Adebayo will have his hands full guarding Anthony Davis. It will be a tough task, but I think it'll all come down to how well Bam and Jimmy can step it up on defense against LeBron and Anthony Davis. The Heat have defended well as a unit. Whenever they go into a zone, as we saw in the last series, the Celtics were rattled. They can do that against the Lakers as well. While the Lakers have arguably the smartest player of all time in LeBron James, it will put him in trouble. He hasn't really faced a zone like Miami throws at them. All of those guys can guard anyone, and they're so energetic that it's really hard to find open passing lanes or open cutting lanes for guys on the Lakers to, get open shots. So it'll be tough for the Lakers, and it's all about the defense for Miami. They say defense wins championships, and in this case, that will be true for the Miami Heat. The X factor in this series will be Tyler Hero. Jimmy Butler, while he hasn't been the best scorer, he's doing everything. And I think Tyler Hero needs to be that guy who averages at least 23 points in each game for the Heat to succeed. He can do it. I know he can. We saw it in his 37 point performance in Game 4. He really can average 23 points in around 30 minutes. And if he can do that, it will really give the Lakers trouble because they'll start honing him on defense, opening up the offense for guys like Goran Dragic to get ISO situations, Jimmy Butler to get ISO situations, Duncan Robinson to get open in the perimeter, and Bam Adebayo in the post. So it'll all be about Tyler Hero and the ability for the Heat to defend LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now let's move on to the Lakers. The Lakers, of course, are led by LeBron James, the second best player of all time, and Anthony Davis, a top 6 player in the NBA right now. They're both generational talents and cannot be taken for granted. Davis has had some great moments, offensive moments. LeBron, the way he closed out Game 5 against Nuggets was mesmerizing to watch. However, the key for the Lakers in this series will be, there's 2 keys for them. One, can LeBron and Anthony Davis consistently play at their highest level? Both of these guys, I feel, while they are superstars, they aren't consistently playing at the best level, unlike guys like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, who are always giving their 110%. LeBron James sometimes turns it down, Maybe he won't do that. Now it's the NBA Finals. It's his time to get the ring. However, they need for them to, in all games, whether it goes to 4 games and 4 games or goes to 7 games, the Lakers need Davis and LeBron to play at the best of their abilities for them to succeed. The other key for the Lakers is the way their role players play. I trust in the Lakers defense. It's been one of the best defenses in the NBA this year, and I really feel they can hold up against this potent Miami offense. However, it will be up to the role players, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green to hit open threes, Caruso and Kuzma to continue making the cuts they've been making against weaker defenses in Portland, Houston, and Denver. It'll be tough against Miami's team, as I said, but it's up to the role players to really step it up. Can Davis, Howard, and McGee all stop Bam Adebayo? Can guys like Danny Green, Caldwell-Pope, guard Hero, can they make open threes? Danny Green's been struggling. They need Danny Green to do well. It'll be up to the role players. Can Rondo provide that playmaking that he's been doing since he came back in the Houston series? For the Lakers, it will be role players stepping it up, and it will be LeBron and Anthony Davis playing to the best of their potential. Who is the X factor for the Lakers in this series? I think the X factor for the Lakers in this series is Kyle Kuzma. It's just like Tyler Hero. I think the Lakers need a third guy who they can depend on to create his own offense and really produce in this series. The Heat have found that guy in Goran Dragic, but I think they'll need a fourth guy, which is why I mentioned Tyler Hero. But the Lakers haven't really found that guy in the playoffs. Rondo has had a game or two here or there, but they don't have a consistent guy giving them 20-21 points along LeBron James and Anthony Davis's heroics, and I think Kuzma can be that guy. He showed it since his rookie year. He can create his own offense. He can hit those tough contested shots. It's all about doing that and when it matters the most. Now, time for my prediction. This will be a great series to watch. All games, in my opinion, will go down to the wire, given both teams' abilities to fight back whenever they are down. However, I feel that the Lakers will be winning this series in 6 games, given the experience they have in the finals, and I think the determination that LeBron James will end up having to win this ring. I think he understands this is one of his last opportunities to win a ring, and he will fully capitalize on that and end up winning the series in 6 games, making him 4-6 in the NBA Finals and getting the Lakers yet another ring. So as I said, it will be a great series to watch. Miami defense against Lakers defense. Role players stepping it up for both teams. However, I feel that the Los Angeles Lakers will win this series in 6 games. And with that, I would like to wrap up this episode here on the NBA the week that was. If you enjoyed my finals preview, please leave a like down below, and if you're new on this channel, subscribe as well. If you want to give your predictions in the comments, please go ahead. Let me know, do you think the Lakers will win or the Heat will win? Who do you think could win finals MVP? And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next episode here on the NBA the week that was. See ya!